Hi, welcome to the channel. Um, we're here today. I tell you, it has just been um, yesterday was just a day. I tell you. Um, I'm Angie, and I'm a full-time caregiver, full-time solo entrepreneur, and I created this channel a long time ago just to be um, really just to share my life as a caregiver. And then I realized that I don't know that I want to share all that comes with the life of a caregiver. And I definitely wanted to, honor and respect my loved one. So I've just been kind of piddling around and trying to figure out a way to create some meaningful content for you as well. And some things that impact me the previous week that I did not have an opportunity to create the video. So I wanted to do that. And so I just want to just pause right now and just say thank you for stopping by the channel. And if you have been one of my subscribers, I appreciate that. That means a lot. And as a caregiver, life is never predictable at all. But my loved one has been a bit under the weather. And so that's the challenge that has been for me, because when she's under the weather, I'm a little bit under the weather as well. It often means more decisions to make, more things to do to, make sure that my loved one is comfortable and that, the needs have been met and those things. And so it's been one of those actually, it's been like a month of balancing my mom's needs with my needs, my family needs, and keeping my head above the water. And so it's been one of those months that I've had to definitely practice what I preach. And with that, I just got the energy to come back and do a video and to share with some of the things that I wanted to share with you before June, or right at June, when June came in. So here's what it is. So we went out to eat at a restaurant, and I was just sitting there thinking about, my loved one, my mom. She's been in the hospital. And I was just thinking about her, but I was trying not to think about her, because that's so important as a caregiver. When you get to go out to dinner or something, you need to be present, right? So I was struggling, to be honest, just struggling a little bit. But my attention was I always pay attention to my surroundings. And so we were sitting at a table, me and my husband. And so to the left of me, I noticed that there was a man, and he was feeding a little girl. The little girl looked to be about maybe age 9 to 11. And I noticed how he was so patient, and he paced himself, and I could just see her tapping and fiddling, and I could tell she was anxious to get the next spoonful. But he did not let that stop him. He enjoyed his meal, as in between pacing her with food. And so I was watching that out the corner of my eye, how they had the table set up. And so I observed that for maybe 20, 30 minutes, maybe more, on and off, not staring, but just putting all that together. During my career as a mental health professional, I've worked with families and children that have had severe disabilities. So I recognized and I picked up on some of the things that were going on, and I thought, oh, okay, she's nonverbal and unable to feed herself. And here they are out at the restaurant, and sitting right out in the you know, they weren't hidden in a corner like I like to do. They were right out front, and I could not see. I could see the side of her and the back of his head. So for 20 minutes, I observed that. And at some point, I got up to go get my final dessert. And so I spoke to him, and I acknowledged him, and I let him know that I saw what he was doing, and how happy I was to see him out and doing good things for himself, right? So he said thank you, and then he began to share that this was his granddaughter. And before I left to get that brownie, we both had tears in our eyes. He said something that sounded like this: "Thank you for seeing me." Most people don't recognize a caregiver. And of course, I shared with him that I had been a caregiver for a number of years as well. And that I was just happy to see him out. And it wasn't a long conversation, way less than 5 minutes. But I am just absolutely amazed with joy to see a fellow caregiver out of the house and doing things. It's still caregiving, but doing it in a different environment. I thought that was very, very healthy, very good. And I'm sure there was probably a wife somewhere, and maybe she was out getting something done for her. That's my hope, because as caregivers, we often have to tag team and coordinate and take turns doing things for ourselves. So I was very pleased with that. So when I got back to the table, my husband looking at the tears in my eyes, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." And at that time, when I got back to the table, the older gentleman and the daughter, they had left. And so he just wanted to know what was wrong. And I just told him a little bit of what I told you. And, but I didn't tell him that sitting behind him was a man and another woman, and then a second woman sitting across from the first woman. So the man that was sitting directly behind my husband was actually feeding this woman. This was a different situation. These, all three of them looked like they were at least 65 years old. And the woman that the man was feeding appeared to be visually impaired. I saw her when they sat down. She was feeling around on the table. And he sat her down, made sure she was sitting down, and she was just, feeling around the table. And then he left to go and get a plate. And then he came back again with another plate. And then the other woman, she went and she stayed a longer time. And then eventually she came back, and he started feeding her. So I was observing that at the same time that I was observing the people to my left. And so I did not say anything to the family behind me, sitting behind my husband. For whatever reason, I already had tears in my eyes. I didn't want to have them bawling. But sometimes you just feel led or inspired to acknowledge or to say something to people. But that's the gist of the video. It impacted me. And I had to ask myself, well, Lord, why did you allow me to see that? Why did you allow me to sit right here to see this? And I smiled kind of like what I'm smiling now. That's why I call the channel The Happy Caregiver, because there is joy in the midst of caregiving. So many times, many of us feel like just really, really deep despair and that loneliness, that isolation, all those things that go into caregiving, the unpredictable days and nights, many times that we have. Many caregivers do not get enough sleep, period. They just don't get enough sleep. And so that can really alter your health, your mental health, and things like that as well. And it's just always something, it's never a dull moment, that's for sure. It's always something. And so when I asked the Lord why, I think that it was probably because these were men. Both of them were men. And then I realized that my content mostly has been geared toward women because I'm a woman. And I know so many women caregivers. But as I thought about why the Lord had me there, I thought about so many other men throughout my career that I know are or were caring for their loved ones. I've met men that were caring for their mothers, and their mothers were the one that told me that their son was their caregiver. They were extremely proud. I can remember one lady, she was extremely proud. And that warmed my heart as well. So many times we don't think that men would rise up to the occasion, but oftentimes they do. My husband also is a caregiver, for my mom, and throughout our marriage, there are things that he can do and there are things that he can't do, right? So the things we sometimes divide those responsibilities up, and those things that he can do, he does, and he does them very well. But there was a process and a training, and most men or many men are not as comfortable sometimes with caregiving as women. And I say that very loosely, but I've met some women that have said, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. Somebody else will have to do that. I just can't do it. And I can appreciate that too. But in the midst of caregiving, if you have a loved one, or if you know somebody, or if you have a neighbor, there's things that you can do. There's always more than enough that you could do for your loved one. Everybody doesn't have to do the same or have the same roles and the same responsibilities. But I challenge you, if you're listening to this video, then delegate some things for other people that may be able to help take some of that heavy load off of you. Now, many caregivers, we don't have the support that people may think we have, and I get it. But it's okay to ask for what you need. You might get a no, but it's okay to ask. And I have found that being able to ask for what I want and ask for what I need has been very free, and it takes a load off of me. Even though I may not get it, I still asked. And in the midst of asking, I also ask, God to send what I need. And amazingly, sometimes he'll send what I need through people that I don't know, strangers that help me to do and to carry on as a caregiver. right? So I just want to put that out there. And I was just so proud to see those men, fathers, those dads, could have been brothers. Um, the one guy, he was that was his granddaughter, you know. So many, many, many types of caregivers. And I just want to say that I am so appreciative to have this platform and to produce even more content to be inclusive of men as well as of women. And so that's it. That's it. That's all. Just wanted to share that. That was heavy on me. I shed more tears when I got home because I think it's just so beautiful that people would stand in the gap and do what needs to be done for their family members. And as a caregiver myself, I know that there are other people, you know, before I was a caregiver, I assisted other caregivers by doing great things that, and I say great things because it was things that they asked me to do, or I heard them say that they wanted something or they wanted to go somewhere or something like that. So I'm just being reflective today, and I'm just very, very thankful for the support that I have. And I'm very, very excited about the upcoming support that's coming for me as well for you. Okay. Again, this is Angie, the Happy Caregiver. I created, yes, in my spare time, I create tools to help caregivers. So I'm going to put the link, it's a freebie, in the description. Check it out and see if it's something that would be beneficial for you. It's a 5-minute burnout reset. So the first 5 minutes of your day, or the last 5 minutes of your day, or any 5 minutes of the day, you can just take a break, which I encourage you to do. Get out and walk around the house or apartment or wherever you are, and take that 5-minute reset with you, and it'll time it exactly 5 minutes and give you 5 minutes to kind of work on resetting your nervous system so that you can continue to be the happy caregiver that you are as well. All right. We'll see you on the next video, and I promise it won't be so long the next time. All right. Please like and subscribe and come back. Leave me a comment because I need encouragement too. We're all in this together, right? Thank you. And we'll see you in the next video.